Hey guys, my name's Alex Barham. Today we're going to talk about the standardized rating system for rapids in Whitewater and more pointedly how they're misused and misinterpreted and why that causes so much confusion. Just a little background to where I'm coming from. I think anyone that spent any amount of time around whitewater kayakers has heard something to the effect of, oh yeah, well, like that runs class 2, right? But there are totally some things that you can make into a class 4 move. And that literally isn't a thing. And I think that a lot of the confusion as to what is what class and how to designate them, and a lot of the endless periodic arguments I get in with people about it, comes from the fact that no one's actually read the standard. There are two ways to find it. I will put a link down in the description to this video so that you can go there. But then also, for those of you who have actually done the right thing and become AW members, they send you this little guide. And if you flip in here, it lists out all of your ratings for you. And it gives examples of rivers at levels which it considers to be a textbook example for that range. Now, the first thing that I would say about it is that, yes, it's called the International Scale of River Difficulty, but most people don't actually seem to pick up what they're putting down. What they do in every single section is describe characteristics which are indicative of how they determined these grading systems, and then immediately tell you, hey, this is when you should scout. So to me, when someone asks me what this system is really all about, what I say is it's two parts. It's A, can you hang? Do you have the competent skills to match the river? Which is what most people think of. But B, what it's really telling you is, if you're using the AW webpage or a guidebook or something like that that's relying on these systems, how often do you need to scout? And so here's a perfect example. Let's actually go through the guide and have a look. So I'm going to skip class 1, but if we go down into class 2, it literally reads class 2, novice, straightforward rapids with wide, clear channels which are evident without scouting. Right there, scouting. So what it's saying is class 2, nondescript features, you don't need to scout. As long as you have the basic competent skills, you can navigate. Let's skip to class 3, right? In my mind, class 3 is where things start to get interesting. Class 3, intermediate. Rapids with moderate regular waves, which may be difficult to avoid and which can swamp an open canoe. Skip down 2 sentences, scouting. Scouting is advisable for inexperienced parties. There you go. The next one, advanced. Intermediate, powerful, but predictable rapids. Skip down 2 sentences. Scouting. Scouting may be necessary. I think you get my point. So, when someone tells you that you can do a class 2 river and make class 2 moves, I think that what they're saying is you can train up to being able to run class 4, class 5, and you should train up to that level by starting at moderate and making things more technical. In the same way that if I was going rock climbing and I only had access to so many routes, but I wanted to progress my skills, I could start ditching holds and make, grabs harder and make it more technical. But it wouldn't be, I wouldn't be changing really the actual exposure to danger, the amount of safety, all of those things. By the same token, what this rating system is saying is if you're running a river for the first time, these are the tools that you will need for success, right? Which is really what differentiates whitewater kayaking from everything else. There have been a lot of conversations about new rating system that this person's working on this and that, and we should change the whole thing. What we have is garbage. Once something's been run a couple times, it's not class 6 anymore, this, that, and the other thing. used to be class 6 and now it's, class 5. Yeah, I mean, sure. But speaking as someone who has actually donated hundreds and hundreds of hours to my time to the AW River base, and who has had to sit at a desk and make the real decision of, am I going to hurt somebody by changing the rating on a rapid or on an entire river to something that's lower? Am I going to sandbag them into getting themselves hurt? I think any experienced boater has had has a story where they told someone that was behind them, just follow me, you'll be fine, or just go run that river, you'll be fine. And it wasn't. That is a horrible, horrible feeling. And the reality of the situation is that even if we do come up with a new rating system, which is much more descriptive, that rivers are subject to change. You can't just make some complicated code that tells someone everything is cool and then send them down, because if you're running Mank, there's going to be a tree in it. If you're not running Mank, there could be a tree in it. There's just no way that, by the same token, one person can sit back and read a sketchy subject to change river description and bang out something really, akin to a rock climbing code of a 10, B6, whatever. You just can't describe the whole thing reliably. And I wouldn't want to take on that responsibility for the runs in my region that I know really well. I wouldn't want to try to find volunteers in other areas to take that responsibility. The vagueness in this system is inherent to the sport. It's by design, and it's good for us. But yeah, there are going to be a lot of people that don't agree with me. And you know what? That's fine. If you've actually spent the seat time that I have updating these river stretches, I'm all ears. But I think that no matter how something sounds in theory, unless you've had to deal with those consequences yourself, you're just Monday morning quarterbacking. But what I hope you take away is understand the system, use it correctly, have intelligent conversations about it, and yeah, practice moves in easier whitewater. Don't tell yourself that you're doing class 4 in a class 2 or something silly like that, because what you're going to do is you're going to go out, and while you may be somewhat technically proficient, you're not mentally going to be there. And I think everyone knows that a huge part of this sport is mental. So, part of this coming about is that I was joking with some people that my local river, the Moose River, is where running class 5 and class 3 comes to die, because there are a lot of people that come up with that mentality and logic, and they either are too scared to put on, which is silly to me, or they get hurt doing silly things because they're pretending that the consequences aren't there, or they're so terrified of the consequences, but they go for it anyway. If you want to get better, practice and go to better features, and then practice with people who know them. Have a good one.